Have you ever felt the weight of resentment pressing down on your heart? It's that quiet ache, the lingering anger from a betrayal, the sting of harsh words, or the bitterness of a dream that slipped away. Resentment can feel like a shadow, following you through your days, stealing your peace and clouding your joy. But what if you could let it go? What if you could release that burden and step into a life of inner freedom, where no past hurt holds power over you? Today we're diving into 7 Stoic steps to let go of resentment and find the freedom your soul craves. These aren't just ideas. They're practical, time-tested tools from Stoic philosophy, crafted to help you break free from the chai of bitterness and live with clarity and calm. Stay with me until the end, because each step is a key to unlocking a lighter, stronger you. If you're ready to release resentment and embrace freedom, drop a comment below with "I am free right now." Let's begin this journey together. Over 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca and Epictetus faced their own battles, betrayals, losses, and the weight of human imperfection. Yet, they found a way to rise above resentment, not by ignoring their pain, but by mastering their response to it. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about understanding your heart, choosing your thoughts, and building a mind that can let go of what no longer serves you. In a world where grudges can fester, where a co-worker's slight, a friend's betrayal, or a family member's words can linger, Stoic wisdom is your guide to freedom. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 Stoic steps to release resentment and reclaim your inner peace. Whether it's a fresh wound or an old scar, these steps will help you loosen the grip of bitterness, make space for healing, and rediscover the joy of living unburdened. Picture this: moving through your day with a heart free from anger, a mind clear of grudges, and a spirit that soars above past hurts. That's the promise of Stoicism, and that's what we're building today. Let me paint a picture for you. You're sitting in your backyard, surrounded by a small garden you've lovingly tended, droves of vibrant flowers, a few potted herbs, a quiet corner for reflection. It's your sanctuary, a place of peace. But as you sit there, your mind drifts to a moment that still stings. A colleague who took credit for your work, a friend who let you down, or a family member who never apologized for their words. The resentment creeps in, like weeds choking your garden. It steals the beauty of the moment, making your heart feel heavy, your thoughts tangled. You want to let it go, but it's hard. Those feelings seem rooted deep. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In that garden you realize you can't change what happened, but you can change how it affects you. You can pull those weeds of resentment one by one and plant seeds of freedom instead. That's the Stoic way, not dwelling on the past, but choosing a future of peace. In the 7 steps we're about to explore, you'll discover how to release the grip of resentment, no matter how deep it runs. How to protect your inner peace from the actions of others. And most importantly, how to find true freedom, a life where no grudge can hold you back. Each step is a path to a lighter heart and a clearer mind. If you apply these lessons, you'll not only let go of resentment, you'll become someone who lives with the strength and serenity of a Stoic, unshaken by the past. Let's dive into the first step now. Step 1. Acknowledge resentment. The first Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to acknowledge your resentment. Resentment thrives in the shadows, growing heavier when you ignore it or pretend it's not there. It's like a weed in your garden. Left unchecked, it spreads, choking the beauty around it. Stoicism teaches us to face our emotions head-on, not to bury them, but to understand them with clarity and courage. Epictetus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." To release resentment, you must first name it. See it for what it is, a natural response to pain, but one you can choose to let go. Acknowledging it doesn't mean dwelling on it, it means shining a light on it so you can begin to heal. Let's imagine a scenario. You're at work and a colleague, Emma, takes credit for a project you poured your heart into. The resentment burns. You feel betrayed, unseen. Your instinct might be to push that feeling down, to tell yourself it's not a big deal. But that only lets the resentment fester. Instead, pause. Say to yourself, "I feel resentful because Emma took credit for my work and it hurts." Naming the emotion gives you power over it, loosening its grip on your heart. This step is about honesty. You're not judging yourself for feeling resentment. You're recognizing it as a signal, a call to action. By acknowledging it, you take the first step toward freedom, reclaiming control over your emotional landscape. Here's how to apply this. The next time resentment creeps in, maybe from a friend's careless comment or a family member's betrayal, take a quiet moment. Write down what you're feeling. I'm resentful because, be specific. If a neighbor criticizes your small garden design, write, I'm resentful because they dismissed my effort without understanding my vision. This simple act of writing brings the emotion into the open, where you can address it with Stoic wisdom. Try this Stoic practice. Keep a journal for a week. Each time you feel resentment, note it down, along with what triggered it. This isn't about reliving the pain. It's about seeing it clearly so you can let it go. Over time, you'll notice patterns, and that awareness will empower you to release resentment before it takes root. By acknowledging your resentment, you're not giving it more power. You're taking the first step to dismantle it, clearing the way for inner freedom. We're diving deep into Stoic wisdom, and I'm so grateful you're here with me. If you're finding these steps helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It helps share this freedom with others. And to show you're ready to let go of resentment, drop a comment below with, I face my truth. Let's move to the second step, which is about shifting your perspective to release the past. The second Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to reframe the source of your resentment. Resentment often feels like it's caused by someone else's actions, a harsh word, a betrayal, a slight. But Stoicism teaches us that our pain doesn't come from the event itself, but from how we interpret it. By reframing the source of your resentment, you take back control, loosening its hold on your heart. Seneca wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." When you resent someone, it's not their actions that keep you trapped. It's the story you tell yourself about those actions. Reframing means rewriting that story, seeing the event through a lens of wisdom rather than anger. Imagine you're tending your small backyard garden, proud of the colorful blooms you've nurtured. A neighbor, Tom, walks by and says, "That's a nice effort, but it's a bit messy, don't you think?" His words sting and resentment flares. You feel judged, unappreciated. But what if you reframed his comment? Instead of seeing it as an attack, you might think, Tom's opinion reflects his perspective, not the value of my garden. Or maybe he's having a bad day and his words aren't about me at all. This shift doesn't excuse Tom's rudeness. It frees you from letting his words define your worth. By reframing, you move your emotions from bitterness to understanding, creating space for peace. To apply this, the next time resentment rises, say when a co-worker overlooks your contribution, pause and ask, what story am I telling myself? If you're thinking, they don't value me, reframe it. Their oversight doesn't change my worth. Write down the new story and let it guide your emotions. Step 2. Reframe the source of your resentment. When resentment takes hold, it often feels like the other person's actions are the root of your pain, their betrayal, their careless words, their disregard. But Stoicism teaches us that our suffering comes not from what happened, but from the meaning we assign to it. By reframing the source of your resentment, you shift the narrative, freeing your heart from the chains of bitterness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Reframing is about taking that power back, choosing a perspective that serves your peace rather than your pain. Let's revisit our garden example. Your neighbor's comment about your backyard garden. "It's a bit messy, don't you think?" sparked resentment. You might be telling yourself, "They're judging my effort, dismissing my creativity." That story fuels your anger. But what if you reframed it? You could think, "Their comment reflects their perspective, not the value of my garden." Or, "Maybe they didn't mean to offend. Perhaps they're just not into gardening." This new perspective doesn't change what they said, it changes how it affects you. Instead of resentment, you feel understanding, or even indifference. You're no longer tethered to their words, and your garden remains your sanctuary. Here's another scenario. Suppose a friend cancels plans at the last minute, leaving you feeling ignored. Resentment whispers, "They don't value me." But reframe it. They might be overwhelmed, and this cancellation isn't about my worth. This shift loosens resentment's grip, letting you respond with compassion or simply move on. To make this a habit, practice this Stoic exercise. When resentment flares, pause and write down the story you're telling yourself. For example, "My boss overlooked my idea because they don't respect me." Then rewrite it. "My boss was distracted, and their oversight doesn't define my value." Read the new story aloud and let it guide your emotions. Over time, reframing becomes a reflex, helping you release resentment with ease. And here's a Stoic reflection. Think of a time you held on to resentment. What story were you telling yourself? How could you reframe it now? This practice builds your emotional resilience, preparing you to let go of future grudges. By reframing the source of your resentment, you're not just letting go, you're reclaiming your freedom, choosing a perspective that lifts you above the pain. We're making incredible progress on this Stoic journey, and I'm so grateful you're here with me. If these steps are helping you release resentment, please hit that like button. It helps others find this path to freedom. And to show you're ready to reframe your pain, drop a comment below with, "I rewrite my story." Now let's explore the third step, which is about forgiving for your own peace. The third Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to forgive for your own sake. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not about excusing someone's actions or pretending the hurt didn't happen. In Stoicism, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a way to release the resentment that binds you so you can step into freedom. By forgiving, you choose to let go of the poison of bitterness, not for the other person, but for your own heart. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Resentment keeps you captive, tethered to the past, while forgiveness sets you free. It's an act of self-mastery, a decision to prioritize your peace over your pain. Imagine you're still carrying resentment from that colleague, Emma, who took credit for your work. Every time you see her, the anger resurfaces, clouding your focus and dimming your joy. But what if you chose to forgive her? Not because she deserves it, but because you deserve to be free. You might say to yourself, "I forgive Emma, not for her sake, but so I can move forward without this weight." This act of forgiveness doesn't mean you trust her again or ignore her actions. It means you're no longer letting her control your emotions. You're choosing to pull the weed of resentment from your heart, making space for peace to grow. To apply this, try this Stoic practice. Think of someone you resent, whether it's a friend, family member, or coworker. Write down a simple statement. I forgive their name for what they did because I choose my freedom. For example, I forgive my neighbor for criticizing my garden because I choose my peace. Say it aloud and let the words sink in. This act of forgiveness is a powerful step toward inner freedom. Step 3. Forgive for your own sake. Forgiveness is a powerful act of self-liberation. It's not about letting someone off the hook or erasing the pain they caused. It's about choosing to free yourself from the emotional prison of resentment. In Stoicism, holding on to bitterness is like carrying a heavy stone. Forgiveness is setting it down, not for the other person's benefit, but for your own peace. Seneca wrote, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." Resentment gives the person who hurt you power over your emotions long after the event has passed. Forgiveness takes that power back, allowing you to live unburdened with a heart open to joy and possibility. Let's revisit our workplace example with Emma, who took credit for your project. The resentment lingers, resurfacing every time you see her succeed. It's tempting to hold on to that anger, to feel it's justified. But what if you forgave her for your own sake? You might journal, "I forgive Emma for taking credit because I choose to let go of this pain." This doesn't mean you approve of her actions or invite her back into your trust. It means you're no longer letting her occupy space in your mind. Here's another scenario. Suppose a family member dismissed your efforts to redesign your small backyard garden, saying, "It's just a hobby, not a big deal." Their words cut deep, and resentment festers. Forgiveness might look like saying to yourself, "I forgive them for not understanding my passion because I deserve to enjoy my garden in peace." This act clears the emotional weeds, letting your love for your garden bloom again. To make this a habit, practice this Stoic exercise. Each time resentment flares, identify the person and the hurt, then write a forgiveness statement. For example, "I forgive my friend for cancelling our plans because I choose my freedom." Say it daily, even if it feels hard at first. Over time, the words will sink into your heart, loosening resentment's hold. And here's a Stoic reflection. Think of someone you've resented for a long time. What would it feel like to forgive them, not for them, but for you? This reflection builds your emotional strength, helping you see forgiveness as a path to inner freedom, not a surrender. By forgiving for your own sake, you're not just letting go of resentment. You're planting seeds of peace, cultivating a life where no past hurt can dim your light. We're halfway through our Stoic journey, and I'm so grateful you're here, releasing resentment step by step. If these lessons are lighting your path to freedom, please hit that like button. It helps others find this wisdom. And to show you're choosing forgiveness for your peace, drop a comment below with "I set myself free." Now let's explore the fourth step, which is about focusing on what you can control. The fourth Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to focus on what you can control. Resentment often grows from a sense of powerlessness, feeling that someone else's actions have stolen your peace or defined your worth. Stoicism teaches us to reclaim our power by focusing on what lies within our grasp, our thoughts, our actions, our responses. By letting go of what we can't control, we free ourselves from the cycle of resentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." You can't control what others say or do, but you can control how you respond, what you value, and how you move forward. This focus shifts your emotions from bitterness to empowerment, paving the way for inner freedom. Imagine you're still stung by a friend's betrayal. They shared a confidence you trusted them with. Resentment tells you to dwell on their disloyalty, to replay the hurt. But what if you focused on what you can control? You can't change their actions, but you can set boundaries, choose who to trust in the future, or invest in relationships that honor your worth. This shift doesn't erase the pain, but it stops the resentment from defining you. Or picture a coworker who criticized your garden project, dismissing your effort. You can't control their opinion, but you can control your response. Maybe by continuing to nurture your garden with pride, or sharing it with those who appreciate it. Focusing on your actions frees you from their judgment. To apply this, try this Stoic practice. When resentment arises, write down what you can't control. For example, I can't control my co-worker's words. And what you can control, for example, I can control how I value my work. Then, take one small action within your control, like setting a boundary or redirecting your energy. This act anchors your emotions in strength, not anger. Step 4. Focus on what you can control. Resentment often festers because we fixate on things beyond our reach. The words someone said, the actions they took, the apologies they never offered. This fixation keeps us trapped, as if we're waiting for the world to right a wrong. Stoicism teaches us to shift our energy to what lies within our grasp, our thoughts, our choices, our path forward. By doing so, we release resentment and reclaim our freedom. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." When you resent someone, you give them control over your emotions. Focusing on what you can control, your response, your values, your actions, takes that control back, shifting your heart from bitterness to strength. Let's revisit the friend who betrayed your confidence. Each time you think of their disloyalty, resentment surges, urging you to dwell on what they did. But what can you control? You can choose to protect your privacy moving forward, nurture relationships with trustworthy people, or reflect on what this experience teaches you about trust. These actions don't undo the betrayal, but they free you from letting it define your peace. Here's another example. Suppose a colleague's harsh critique of your small garden project still stings. They called your design amateurish. You can't control their opinion or make them take it back, but you can control how you move forward. You might decide to refine your garden with new plants, share it with a supportive community, or simply enjoy it for yourself. By focusing on your actions, you let go of their judgment, reclaiming the joy of your creative work. To make this a habit, practice this Stoic exercise. When resentment arises, draw a line down a piece of paper. On one side, write what you can't control, e.g., I can't control my colleague's words. On the other, write what you can control, e.g., I can control how I improve my garden. Then take one small step within your control, like planting a new flower or setting a personal goal. This act redirects your emotions, rooting them in empowerment rather than pain. And here's a Stoic reflection. Think of a time resentment consumed you. What could you have controlled in that moment? This awareness strengthens your ability to let go, preparing you for future challenges with clarity and calm. By focusing on what you can control, you're not just releasing resentment, you're building a life where your peace depends on you, not the actions of others. We're making powerful strides toward inner freedom, and I'm so grateful you're here with me. If these Stoic steps are helping you let go of resentment, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps others discover this path. And to show you're focusing on what you can control, drop a comment below with "I choose my power." Now let's explore the 5th step, which is about practicing gratitude to heal your heart. The 5th Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to practice gratitude. Resentment thrives on lack. Focusing on what was taken, what went wrong, or what you feel you're owed, it's like staring at the weeds in your garden while ignoring the flowers. Stoicism teaches us to shift our gaze to what remains, to the small, steady gifts that still light our lives. Gratitude doesn't erase the hurt, but it softens resentment, filling your heart with hope and peace. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Resentment magnifies the pain of the past, but gratitude grounds you in the present, reminding you of what's still good, your strength, your loved ones, or the chance to start anew." Imagine you're still carrying resentment toward a family member who dismissed your garden project as just a hobby. The hurt lingers, making every family gathering tense. But what if you practiced gratitude? You might be thankful for the garden itself, which brings you joy, or for the friends who admire your work. You could even be grateful for the lesson this dismissal taught you, to value your passions regardless of others' opinions. This gratitude doesn't negate the hurt, but it shifts your focus, loosening resentment's hold. Your emotions move from anger to appreciation, creating space for freedom to grow. To apply this, try this Stoic practice. When resentment surfaces, write down 3 things you're grateful for in the moment. If you're upset about a coworker's slight, you might list a supportive colleague, a skill you're proud of, or the quiet beauty of your morning coffee. Keep a gratitude journal and add to it daily. This habit rewires your mind, making gratitude a shield against bitterness. Step 5. Practice gratitude. Resentment keeps you anchored in the past, replaying what went wrong and who caused your pain. It's like tending a garden but only seeing the wilted leaves, ignoring the blooms still thriving. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus to what's good, to cultivate gratitude for the gifts still present in our lives. This practice doesn't erase the hurt, it softens it, replacing bitterness with hope and opening the door to inner freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude is a lens that reveals the beauty still around you, even in the shadow of resentment. It reminds you that your life is bigger than any single hurt, filled with moments and people worth cherishing. Let's revisit the family member who dismissed your garden project as just a hobby. The resentment makes every interaction feel heavy, tainting your connection. But what if you practiced gratitude? You might be grateful for the joy your garden brings, for the hours spent nurturing it, or for the friends who celebrate your creativity. You could even find gratitude for the strength this experience has built in you, the resolve to honor your passions despite others' opinions. This shift transforms your emotional landscape. Gratitude doesn't mean you approve of their dismissal. It means you're choosing to focus on what lifts your spirit, letting resentment fade like a weed pulled from fertile soil. Here's another example. Suppose a co-worker's careless remark about your work still stings, fueling resentment. Practicing gratitude might mean appreciating a supportive teammate, the skills you've honed, or the simple fact that you have a job to grow in. These small points of light dim the power of resentment, guiding your heart toward peace. To make this a habit, try this Stoic exercise. Each time resentment arises, pause and list 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. If a friend's betrayal lingers, you might write, "I'm grateful for my other friendships, for my ability to learn from this, for the quiet morning I had today." Add these to a gratitude journal daily, even outside of crises. This practice rewires your mind, making gratitude a reflex that shields you from bitterness. And here's a Stoic reflection. Think of a time resentment clouded your joy. What could you have been grateful for in that moment? This awareness strengthens your ability to find light in the darkest moments, paving the way for true freedom. By practicing gratitude, you're not just letting go of resentment. You're cultivating a heart that thrives on joy, a mind that sees abundance even in the face of pain. We're nearing the end of our Stoic journey, and I'm so grateful you're here, freeing your heart from resentment. If these steps are helping you find inner peace, please hit that like button. It helps others discover this wisdom. And to show you're embracing gratitude, drop a comment below with "I see the light." Now, let's explore the sixth step, which is about acting with virtue to rise above resentment. The sixth Stoic step, to let go of resentment and find inner freedom, is to act with virtue. Resentment often tempts us to lower ourselves, to respond with anger, pettiness, or revenge. It's like letting a weed in your garden spread, choking your own growth. Stoicism teaches us to rise above, to act with the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, even when resentment burns. By choosing virtue, we free ourselves from the cycle of bitterness, anchoring our emotions in integrity. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Resentment makes you a prisoner of someone else's actions, but acting with virtue restores your freedom. It's a choice to live by your values, not the hurts inflicted by others, guiding your emotions towards strength and peace. Imagine you're still resentful about that colleague Emma who took credit for your work. The urge to retaliate, maybe by gossiping or undermining her, might be strong, but what if you chose virtue? With wisdom, you reflect on the situation calmly. With courage, you address the issue professionally, seeking fairness. With justice, you treat her with respect, despite her actions. With temperance, you avoid letting anger dictate your response. This virtuous approach doesn't change Emma's behavior, but it changes you. It lifts you above resentment, grounding your emotions in a sense of purpose and dignity. To apply this, try this Stoic practice. When resentment tempts you to act against your values, pause and ask, what would a virtuous response look like? If a friend's slight stings, choose kindness by offering understanding. If a co-worker's criticism lingers, choose effort by improving your work. Write down one virtuous action you can take and follow through. Step 6. Act with virtue. Resentment can pull you down, tempting you to mirror the negativity of those who hurt you. Through sharp words, cold silence, or small acts of spite, it's like letting a weed overtake your garden, dimming its beauty. Stoicism calls us to rise higher, to act with virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, even when resentment burns. By choosing virtue, you break free from bitterness, rooting your emotions in dignity and purpose. Seneca wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Acting with virtue isn't about pleasing the person who wronged you, it's about honoring yourself. It's a declaration that their actions won't define who you are or how you live. This choice lifts you above resentment, guiding your heart toward inner freedom. Let's revisit the scenario with Emma, the colleague who took credit for your work. Resentment might urge you to undermine her, perhaps by pointing out her flaws to others. But what if you acted with virtue? With wisdom, you assess the situation clearly, focusing on your own growth. With courage, you speak up calmly, addressing the issue directly. With justice, you treat her fairly, not stooping to her level. With temperance, you keep your emotions in check, responding with grace. Here's another example. Imagine a neighbor's ongoing criticism of your small backyard garden. It's too cluttered. Still fuels resentment. Instead of snapping back, choose virtue. With wisdom, you consider if their feedback has any merit. With courage, you continue nurturing your garden proudly. With justice, you offer them kindness, perhaps sharing a flower. With temperance, you let their words pass without disrupting your peace. To make this a habit, practice this Stoic exercise. When resentment tempts you to act unkindly, pause and ask, what's the virtuous thing to do? If a friend's slight stings, choose understanding over coldness. If a co-worker's betrayal lingers, choose professionalism over gossip. Write down the virtuous action and commit to it. This practice shifts your emotions from anger to integrity, clearing the path to freedom. And here's a Stoic reflection. Recall a time resentment led you to act against your values. What virtue could you have chosen instead? This reflection builds your strength, ensuring you meet future hurts with grace. By acting with virtue, you're not just letting go of resentment, you're crafting a life of honor where your peace shines brighter than any past pain. We're almost at the finish line of our Stoic journey, and I'm so grateful you're here, rising above resentment. If these steps are guiding you toward freedom, please hit that like button. It helps others find this path. And to show you're choosing virtue over bitterness, drop a comment below with, "I rise higher." Now let's explore the seventh and final step, which is about embracing the present to let go of the past. The seventh Stoic step to let go of resentment and find inner freedom is to embrace the present. Resentment keeps you chained to the past, replaying old hurts and stealing the beauty of now. It's like standing in your blooming garden, but only seeing the weeds of yesterday. Stoicism teaches us to live fully in the present, to focus on this moment, the only one we truly have. By embracing the present, you release the grip of resentment, filling your heart with peace and possibility. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already or is impossible to see. The past is gone, and resentment cannot change it. The present, however, is yours to shape. When you immerse yourself in the here and now, you free your emotions from the weight of what was, stepping into the freedom of what is." Imagine you're still holding resentment toward that family member who dismissed your garden project. Every family gathering feels tainted by their words. But what if you embraced the present? You might focus on the laughter around the table, the warmth of shared moments, or the joy of your garden today, its new blooms, its quiet beauty. This choice doesn't erase the past hurt, but it diminishes its power. By living in the present, you shift your emotions from bitterness to gratitude, from pain to peace. To apply this, try this Stoic practice. When resentment pulls you back, pause and ground yourself in the present. Notice three things around you, perhaps the scent of your garden, the sound of birds, or the feel of a warm mug in your hands. Write them down and let them anchor you in the moment. This act redirects your emotions, freeing you from the past. You've just unlocked 7 Stoic steps to release resentment and embrace inner freedom. From acknowledging your pain to living fully in the present. These steps are your guide, transforming the heavy chains of bitterness into wings of peace and possibility. Stoicism isn't about denying your emotions, it's about mastering them with wisdom. It's about choosing to forgive, to focus on what you can control, to act with virtue, and to find gratitude in the face of hurt. Each time you take these steps, you're not just letting go of resentment. You're crafting a life of strength, serenity, and unshakable freedom. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Let your thoughts be your sanctuary, a place where past hurts have no power, where your heart is free to soar. Choose to live each day with the wisdom of Stoicism, knowing that you have the strength to release any resentment and embrace the beauty of now." I challenge you to apply one of these steps this week. Maybe it's writing a forgiveness statement, practicing gratitude, or grounding yourself in the present moment. Whatever you choose, take that step with courage. Your inner freedom is worth it. Thank you for joining me on this Stoic journey. If you found value in this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more wisdom to help you live with strength and peace. Check out the playlist on your screen for more Stoic lessons, and let's keep growing together. Until next time, stay Stoic, stay liberated, and keep embracing your freedom.